day, a little fogginess out there, and a lot went down this weekend in the sports world. That's why we talked to our guy, Pep. Pep, what's going on?
Hey, it might be foggy out there this morning, but we're going to try to make things very clear for you coming out of the NFL draft for your favorite football teams. And I'll say this, if you're a Rams fan, they kind of went under the radar getting a quarterback in the draft. Now listen, Matt Stafford is still a very good quarterback, led them to a Super Bowl, but he's got some injuries. He's getting a little bit older, and they got another Georgia Bulldog out there waiting in the wings. He's a national champion. It's Stetson Bennett. I don't know if he's going to pan out. A lot of people are concerned with his size, but he's a winner, Patrick. This guy won a national title at Georgia, and he's going to come in and, work under Matt Stafford for a while.
He's got that underdog mentality, and I think even McVay knows that that's the most dangerous kind of football player sometimes. And, someone who can run the offense, be serviceable. I am kind of surprised. I was surprised. I didn't think anyone had their eye on him. Remember, everybody was talking like his career is over.
Yeah.
Not true.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Throw out the intangibles. And I think a lot of NFL teams now have stopped looking at all the measurements. I mean, look at Bryce Young. We all predicted he was going to go number 1 to Carolina, and he sure did. But when you look at him, he doesn't necessarily look the part of a starting NFL quarterback. But I think a lot of NFL teams now, thanks to guys like Drew Brees and Russell Wilson, you don't have to look exactly cookie cutter quarterback, right? And Stetson Bennett, he doesn't. He doesn't look like this big, huge guy, that's going to throw the ball 80 yards downfield. But the guy wins. He won a national championship. He knows how to run an offense. And if he's got a couple seasons under Matt Stafford to figure it all out, he might not be a bad pick to be the heir apparent. We'll find out. I mean, but he's got time. He doesn't have to step in and be the number QB1 on day one because you got Matt Stafford still.
He is, people do need to kind of accept, too, that, you cannot kill the quarterback anymore, too.
Yes.
So size from taking a beating is not as necessary as it once was. You used to have the Big Ben Roethlisberger just to get rocked all the time. You cannot rock and stomp the quarterback anymore. So, and he's a pocket passer, and he does seem to be slick enough to avoid a lot of contact. It's a different game nowadays. Even look at Tom Brady. He used to end up on his back a lot. Same thing, with the Rams quarterback. That's one thing that she said. Kurt Warner's wife said that she hated is, that's a great play. My husband's on his back looking up at what happened, It's rough. It was rough, excuse me. Can't do that anymore.
Stetson Bennett, sneaky fast. I think you bring up a great point. He is sneaky fast. I've seen enough Georgia Bulldog games to know he can run when he needs to run. So he's going to try to elude those tackles in the backfield. But you don't have to look like Josh Allen. Josh Allen, looks like he's cut out of a JCPenney's catalog. This big, strong guy. And Stetson Bennett's not that. But again, I just want a guy that's going to win. This guy's a proven winner, so they're going to give him a shot. He's going to come in. He doesn't have to start day one, so that's the good part. Hopefully, Matt Stafford, injury-wise, is going to be okay and ready for the start of the season, and that'll buy Stetson Bennett more time, assuming he's the backup, right? We're just assuming he's going to be the guy to step in there.
He did get on a roster. He got drafted, so step one is there.
Yep,
he got his foot in the door, and it sounds like that's all this kid needs. Yep. That's how he thrives. Tell him he can't do it, right? That's what's got him here in the first place.
Yeah,
Maybe maybe it's like you said. It could be kind of a perfect situation for him. He's got the offensive genius who's calling the plays for him.
Yeah, we won't go through his whole story here, but he was always the guy that was counted out. He was like the fifth string quarterback at Georgia. He was there. I think he transferred out, then he came back. It was just a long, long road to get to this point, but the guy never gave up. The guy fights, so that's what I like about him.
Yes.
All right, let's talk more quarterbacks. The Philadelphia Eagles, they got Jalen Hurts. They're probably the best team in the NFC outside of my San Francisco 49ers, of course. But the Eagles they have a really good team, and they got their quarterback of the future. But what did they do? They went out and drafted Centennial High School product Tanner McKee out of Centennial, out of Stanford in the 6th round. I'm not saying Tanner McKee's going to take the starting job from Jalen Hurts. That's not going to happen because Jalen just got a lot of money. But Tanner McKee's going to go in there and hopefully, like Stetson Bennett, will be the backup, and maybe he'll impress another NFL team, and they'll bring him in to be the starter somewhere.
Well, it's somebody who knows how to run the NFL offense. You know what I mean? It's somebody who can do it, somebody who's serviceable. And I think we've all seen with injuries and all that stuff, you have to have somebody who can run it. And because the guy in front of you may go down as a quarterback, even though you can't hit him as much, it still happens. You got to have a good backup too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very rare to see a starting NFL quarterback make it through the entire season. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's too physical. Even some quarterbacks late in the season, they might even get a game or two off, and we've seen how important it is to have backup quarterbacks. I mean, Chase Daniel was the perfect backup quarterback for an NFL team. The guy was good when he got in there. Chad Henne with the Kansas City Chiefs, like, he was the perfect backup. You just need a backup guy that you can plug in and know that they can play, and it's an important part of an NFL team.
It really is.
So, congrats to Tanner McKee, our guy from Centennial. We had a bunch of other guys I thought were for sure going to get drafted, but they got signed as undrafted free agents right at the end of the draft. Shout out to Caleb Hayes, San Gorgonio, BYU. He's going to the Jaguars. Tyreek Jones, also from San Gorgonio, Boise State. He's going to the Titans. And Jeremiah Martin, the pride of Cajon High School and the Washington Huskies. He is going to the Browns. And Travis Dye, Norco running back, USC running back, also former Oregon Duck. He's going to the Jets to join Aaron Rodgers. So we've got a bunch of guys all over the place with the IE.
Always cool. That's one of my favorite parts of the draft, is just seeing the IE kids that get to go, at least get a chance. It's really cool.
Yeah, just get a chance, man. Hey, we're IE guys. We got some dog in us, right? They're going to go in there and fight for a job.
That's all you need.
Yes. All right, we got to talk NBA playoffs. Patrick, the Lakers have advanced. They took care of Memphis. So the Lakers move on. They're going to play Golden State. It pains me to say this, but the Warriors beat my Sacramento Kings in Game 7 yesterday. The Kings looked like absolute garbage when they needed to show up the most. But Steph Curry, man, the greatest shooter in NBA history. If you can't stop him, then you're going to lose the game. Warriors are going to advance, and they look the part, man. They look like the defending champions.
And you know what? Believe it or not, Steph, lots of times in these games, he's lacked the kill every once in a while. And I know it's not popular to be criticizing Steph Curry, but sometimes he finally had his kind of signature game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He went bananas. And I know everyone's like, well, it's Steph Curry. I mean, I know. But lots of times when the pressure's on, he's done it all season long. Sometimes he needs his teammates to kind of help him in the playoffs. It felt that way. This was the first time I was like, Chef Curry, the kids like to call him, because he's cooking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and it was like, okay, now he's a star. Now he's cementing his legacy when you start getting the kill like that.
These NBA superstars, you look at their stats and you're like, oh, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer or he's definitely an all-star. But they also have signature moments or signature games, and I think that was one for Steph Curry, unfortunately for my Kings. You're right. He was cooking, man. He was cooking on Sunday. They couldn't stop him. In fact, I was at an event last night, and we were talking about the game, and I'm like, how do you let the greatest shooter in NBA history, how do you lose track of him on the floor? He went for 50. Double team him. Make Draymond Green make a shot or something. But it probably wouldn't matter. Steph Curry would get those shots up anyways.
Right, and those shots were very impressive, but I mean, his whole game was working last night. I mean, attacking the rim, the mid-range jumper, the defense, all that stuff. I think, watching those three-pointers does take away from the fact that he's a hell of a basketball player all the way around.
Oh, a couple of those layups he made, driving inside these circus shots, and when I say greatest shooter, he is much more than just a great shooter. He's just a flat-out great basketball player.
He's turned it into a free throw, man. It's amazing.
Yes. All right, so it's Lakers versus Warriors. That's going to be a heck of a series coming up in the Western Conference. The other Western Conference series in the semifinals, it's going to be the Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets. So those are pretty good series, Patrick. I'm excited about these NBA playoffs.
I'm glad you brought it up because no one's talking about Denver. It's just the way it is. And Jamal Murray went completely bananas. I mean, another signature type moment where, it was kind of a funny moment in the press conference when they asked Kevin Durant. He's like, am I surprised? He's like, you guys haven't been watching, have you? No, I'm not surprised. They're good, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was, because sometimes he can get nasty a little bit. He has that angry side, but it was kind of a funny comment when he kind of went back at the reporter. He was like, am I surprised? No. You've seen him, right? Jamal's back. If you didn't know, he was roaring at the crowd, and he was going bananas, man.
Yeah, don't forget, Phoenix has Kevin Durant. We talk a lot about the Lakers. Golden State's the defending champions. But at the end of the day, the Denver Nuggets are the number one seed. Like the NBA, if they make it to the finals, it has to go through Denver. They will have home court advantage. They're the number one team in the West.
Yeah, and they're looking good, too.
Yeah, they are looking good. One other quick NBA and / hockey note. The number one seeds for the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs are out. Milwaukee Bucks, we haven't mentioned that. The Milwaukee Bucks are out. And then the Boston Bruins, who had a historic regular season in hockey, they also got bounced. So just because you're the best team during the regular season, it means nothing come playoff time, Patrick.
Sometimes being that number one seed puts a weird kind of pressure on you where you're expected to win. And when that happens, it's kind of like when you just assume you're going to win. It doesn't happen that way. It's a prime recipe to get punched in the mouth. I'm going into dad mode in the dugout with my little league team. I tell them the same thing. You guys with your attitude, you think you're just going to come out here and just kick these kids' butt. You guys are going to get punched in the mouth, and it's exactly what happened, man. That's the way it is. You can't
Little league, NBA playoffs, it's all the same, man.
You can't think you're just going to win, man. No, you got to go out there and fight hard and hope it turns out your way. It's the way it is.
Yeah, at least put your best foot forward, man. Give it your best effort. Don't sleepwalk through the playoffs just because you were good for a couple months during the regular season.
Oh, man, so good. We will catch up with Pep on our Thursday. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
Get my stuff on Inland Sports. Maybe we should add some inspirational notes from Patrick in the morning, like, kids, don't give up. We'll add that to Inland Sports on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and the YouTube channel. I love that.
Dugout Dad, look out. Thanks, Pep. Perfect, dude.
Dugout Dad. Guys.
Dugout Dad. I say
fight,
dickhead
guys.
dad. I try not to be dickhead dad. For my son, I'll be like, I'm sorry, Kyle. Right?
You're like, I apologize the way I was acting today.
That's what I tell the other kids. I'm like, think about Kyle. Think about this poor kid. How much he has to hear from me.
I'm his dad.
Yeah. They're like, oh, man. You know what I mean?